You ever wonder what really goes on when the doors are closed? What secrets hide behind those smiles you see every day, especially at places you trust, places that feel like home? It's a scary thought, isn't it? That the people who serve you, who create the things you love, might be hiding something, something that could change everything you believe about them. Now, before we dive into the story, a quick favor. Take a second, just one tiny second, and hit that like button. It helps us know you're out there, listening. And tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below, right now. Because trust me, this story, it's for you. It's for anyone who's ever wondered about the truth, about what happens when the boss isn't around. Today, we're going to talk about a man, a bakery, and a conversation that stopped him cold. An undercover owner serving customers at his own bakery, only to hear something from two bakers, something he never expected. Let's dive in to see. The aroma of freshly baked bread usually filled the air at sweet surrender, a comforting scent that promised warmth and happiness. Today, however, that familiar comfort was tinged with a strange unease for Arthur Pendleton, the bakery's owner. Arthur, a man in his late 40s with a kind face and sharp, observant eyes, had decided to go undercover. He'd slipped on an apron, pulled a cap low over his brows, and was working the counter, pretending to be a new hire, Al, for the day. He wanted to see his bakery through different eyes, to feel the pulse of it without the filter of his ownership. He greeted customers with a cheerful, if slightly nervous smile, bagging pastries, pouring coffees, and wiping down counters. The morning rush was in full swing. He served a young woman with bright, curious eyes, a father buying a birthday cake for his daughter, and an elderly gentleman who came in every Tuesday for his usual cinnamon roll. Each interaction was a small window into their lives, and Arthur found himself enjoying the simple rhythm of it. He learned more in those few hours than he had in months of reading reports. Then, a sudden lull. The line thinned, and for a moment, the only sounds were the gentle clatter of trays from the back and the quiet hum of the display refrigerators. Arthur was wiping down the pastry case when he heard them. Two voices, muffled but clear enough, from the kitchen's swinging doors. It was Ilara and Finn, two of his most trusted bakers, people he'd personally hired and always believed in. "Are you sure about this, Ilara?" Finn's voice, usually so steady and confident, held a tremor of something Arthur couldn't quite place. Fear? Regret? Ilara's response was a low, urgent whisper. "We have to, Finn. You know what they said. It's the only way." Arthur froze. The rag in his hand stopped mid-wipe. His heart, which had been beating to the cheerful rhythm of the bakery, now hammered against his ribs. What did they say? Who are they? A cold knot tightened in his stomach. He tried to tell himself it was nothing, just idle chatter, but the tone, the secrecy, it prickled his skin. He leaned in, straining his ears, trying to appear busy, but his entire being was focused on their hushed conversation. "But the quality, Ilara," Finn continued, his voice barely audible. "Arthur prides himself on it. He always says a bakery is only as good as its ingredients." Arthur's breath hitched. He had indeed said that countless times. It was his mantra. His bakery, Sweet Surrender, wasn't just a business. It was a passion project, a legacy built on honest, high-quality ingredients and a commitment to deliciousness. The thought of anything compromising that, it was a deep, searing pain, like a betrayal. Ilara sighed, a sound heavy with despair. "He won't know the difference, Finn. Not at first. And by the time he does, it will be too late. They promised us. Freedom." Freedom? Arthur's mind raced. Freedom from what? From him? He had always tried to be a fair and supportive boss. He offered good wages, benefits, and a positive work environment. He genuinely cared for his employees, treating them like family. The idea that they felt trapped, or worse, were plotting something behind his back, was a bitter pill to swallow. He felt a wave of confusion mixed with a growing sense of dread. He pretended to rearrange a display of croissants, his hands trembling slightly. He needed to hear more. He needed to understand. He had always believed in transparency, in open communication. But this felt like a betrayal festering in the heart of his creation. His mind conjured images of cheap ingredients, shortcuts, damaged reputation. His fears, usually kept at bay by his positive outlook, started to swirl, dark and menacing. "What about the suppliers?" Finn asked, his voice laced with concern. "We've used the same local farms for years. The fresh butter, the organic flour, it's what makes our pastries unique." Alara's voice hardened. "They have their own suppliers, Finn, cheaper, and they'll handle everything. We just need to adjust our orders, make sure the numbers align. Adjust their orders, cheaper suppliers." It all clicked into place with a sickening thud. They were talking about cutting corners, about sacrificing the very essence of sweet surrender. Arthur felt a surge of anger, hot and sharp. How could they? After all, he had invested, not just money, but his heart and soul into this place. He remembered the early days, the sleepless nights, the endless hours perfecting recipes. He remembered the joy of seeing customers' faces light up with their first bite of a sweet surrender pastry. All of that potentially jeopardized by two people he trusted. The pain of potential betrayal was a physical ache in his chest. He moved silently, his movements precise despite the turmoil inside him, making his way toward the back, as if heading to the storeroom. He paused just outside the kitchen doors, where he could hear them more clearly. "And the new recipe. Are you sure it'll fool him?" Finn's voice was barely a whisper now, filled with a raw anxiety that Arthur found chilling. "It has to," Alara replied, her voice firm, resolute. "We've practiced it endlessly. It's almost identical in texture, in taste, just a little less rich, a little less pure. But no one will notice, not unless they're looking for it. Less pure." The words echoed in Arthur's mind, a mournful knell for the integrity of his bakery. He thought of his loyal customers, the families who relied on sweet surrender for their special occasions, the morning ritual of a fresh pastry and coffee. He thought of his own grandmother, who had taught him the art of baking, emphasizing quality above all else. This wasn't just about money. It was about trust, about reputation, about the very soul of sweet surrender. He felt a profound sadness wash over him, a sense of loss that cut deeper than any financial blow could. He had poured his life into this bakery. It was more than bricks and mortar. It was a testament to his values, a place where people found joy in simple, honest food. And now it felt as though that foundation was crumbling, undermined from within by those he had nurtured. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. He couldn't confront them yet. He needed more information. He needed to understand the why. What could possibly drive Alara and Finn, two seemingly dedicated bakers, to such lengths? What kind of freedom were they seeking that justified such a betrayal? The thought that they might be desperate, perhaps under some external pressure, flickered in his mind, a slim thread of hope amidst the despair. He returned to the counter, his movements stiff, his face a mask of practiced normalcy. A new customer entered, and Arthur, the undercover Al, forced a smile. He bagged a loaf of sourdough, his mind reeling, trying to process the shocking revelation. The comforting aroma of bread now seemed tainted, a cruel reminder of the potential deception. The rest of the shift passed in a blur of forced smiles and mechanical actions. Arthur's mind was racing, trying to piece together the fragments of conversation, searching for clues, for any reason that could explain this. He had always believed in the inherent goodness of people, but this situation challenged that belief to its core. He felt a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. How could he possibly move forward? How could he trust anyone again? The pain of betrayal was a heavy cloak, smothering the warmth he usually felt for his beloved bakery. He knew he couldn't let this go. The integrity of sweet surrender, and more importantly, the trust of his customers, depended on him uncovering the truth. He had to face his fears, no matter how painful. He had to confront this unsettling reality head on. As the last customer left and he began the closing routine, a single sad thought echoed in his mind. Sometimes the sweetest things hide the bitterest truths. Arthur knew he had a long night ahead, filled with difficult decisions. The comfortable veil of ignorance had been lifted, replaced by a harsh, unsettling reality. He was ready to face it, to fight for his bakery, for his values. He just hoped that when the truth finally unfolded, it wouldn't shatter everything he held dear. The journey ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Sweet surrender would either reclaim its purity or it would become a testament to the bitter taste of betrayal. And he, Arthur Pendleton, would ensure the former, no matter the cost. So, what do you think? Has a trusted place ever let you down? Have you ever felt that unsettling feeling that something just isn't right?